Okay, so the first point of yoga is proper exercise, or asana. And that is, asana means seat. That means when I take a seat, for some time my body, hopefully my body becomes a little comfortable. When I'm moving into that seat, I may not feel comfortable, but once I settle down, I should feel fairly comfortable, and I should be able to stay in that seat for some time. So think about, imagine if you invite a guest into your home and you say, please have a seat. You want them to be comfortable for some time. And so that's kind of what we're doing when we do asana. We're relating to the flat plane of the earth in a certain way. And there are many different seats. When I sit the way I'm sitting now, for example, it's causing blood to circulate in a certain way. I'm having to use certain muscles maybe to hold the body upright. Maybe other parts of the body can be relaxed. They don't have to work at that time. So there's a statement about asana coming from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And it says, stiram sukham asanam, which means the asana should be steady and comfortable. So this is what we're aiming for. We have actually a lot of asanas. In the scriptures, sometimes it's given that there are 84 asanas. Sometimes it's given that there are 8,400,000 asanas. So, and that number kind of reflects the fact that maybe there are that many different species of living creatures, and so we have one asana for each of those. And so in a way, as we do the asanas, we're taking different forms with the body, which cause the mind to think a certain way, cause the psyche to reflect in a certain way on our experiences. So they work in a very deep way. We can say that when we do the postures or the asanas in yoga, that we are having benefits that come in a sort of gross way to the physical body, benefits, let's say, to the muscles or to the internal organs. And then we have benefits that come in a little more subtle way, let's say, to the endocrine system. They have an impact on the way the hormones are, the balance of the hormones within the body. And then we have mental benefits. So that is a little more subtle. Still, we have changes that will happen. Maybe it's the positioning the body in different ways causes the mind to feel a certain way. And then we have benefits that are a little more subtle still, let's say, to like on a spiritual level. There are certain asanas that may cause us to reflect upon certain things in life, or to feel confident or lack of confidence, let's say. So the practices are acting on us in so many different ways. So it's never just, we think maybe, oh, I'm just stretching a little bit, but it's not just that. It's quite deep, actually. So, but a main benefit that we can say is this blood circulation. So when I'm sitting upright like this, the blood is circulating a certain way. If I'm on my head, the blood is circulating completely differently. So these practices, although we take it to mean proper exercise, I'm getting exercise for the body, but they go quite deep. Now, how the asanas are different than, say, some other form of physical culture or some other type of exercise. I can play basketball. And what that's going to do to my body is maybe the heart rate goes up a little bit. I'm moving quickly over a long period of time. I'm changing direction, so there will be some strain on the joints of the body as I move and I change direction that way. Typically, when I'm doing something like playing basketball, I'm not getting rest in between things. So there's some fatigue over time to the joints of the body. When I do a yoga practice, what I'm trying to do is get exercise, but maintain a relaxation response in the body at the same time. Now, initially, when I'm a beginner and I'm learning, it may not come like that. I may feel like I'm working a bit hard, or I may feel even a little bit like I'm straining different parts of the body because it's something new. But once I adjust to that practice and I get used to it, it should be that as I'm doing it, I feel quite relaxed. And then in between the asanas, we have periods where we just relax flat. And in that time, I get a chance for my breathing to return to normal, my heart rate to return to normal, and any stress to the joints dissipates a little bit. So the body is much more at ease as I'm doing the practice. And so And it's never always just about the body also. So the mind will be having certain benefits. I'm going to be learning a lot about myself. We can say that each asana that I do has something potentially to teach me about myself and my understanding of how my way in the world. So I'll give an example because I like this example a lot. So a lot of beginners think, and I thought also, the headstand, I won't be able to do it. It's too difficult for me. I thought these other things seem okay, but headstand, no. But headstand teaches us a lot, actually. So when, and the main benefit we can say for the headstand is I'm going to develop a concentration and a confidence. And I think we can't underestimate the importance of that confidence in life. So that confidence that I can gain from learning to stand on my own head, as it were, that confidence gives me the understanding that in life there are maybe many things that I can do that I didn't realize I can do. And so we see that with students. When they finally get to do something like the headstand, that main benefit for them becomes in growing their confidence a little bit. But when I'm upside down, I'm seeing the world differently. I have a chance to understand myself in different ways. But we can also say that standing on the head, continuing with this example, standing on the head is like an act of spiritual independence. So when I'm able to stand on my own head, it's like I'm taking responsibility in certain ways for myself, for being able to hold myself in that position, which is very different. I spend most of my life walking around, doing things with my hands and walking places on my feet. And so when I'm standing on my head, I'm saying for a short time, let me turn that upside down, let me look at the world differently, and let me, I think more importantly, let go of some of the things that I might be holding tightly to. And often those things are mental, maybe I have an attachment to certain things, or I see the world a certain way, or I think my political views are very important. And so for that short time, I'm saying, let it be, I'll look at it differently. I don't have to, I can go back to my way of thinking again afterward, but for a short time, I'm going to see the world differently. So this is an example, and each asana like that has something to teach us about ourselves and the way that we relate to the world. So the practice is very important. And this practice is very accessible for people. We like to do the asanas. The fact that there may be some things that are challenging that we can't do, it gives us a kind of inspiration to continue with the practice. And so with time, we keep going, we keep learning, and that encourages us, I think, in other ways. As I said, with the looking at the 5 points of yoga, I may become interested in some of the more subtle aspects, even by beginning with a practice of asana. The teaching of Swami Vishnudevananda is, with respect to asanas, is he emphasized 12 basic asanas. And so you might think, why 12 out of 8,400,000 asanas, why 12? Well, his thinking was, if these are very potent asanas, these 12, and if you're doing each of these 12, you're preparing the body in a way for all the other practices that you might want to do. So through those 12 basic asanas, you're working through the body in a certain sequence, working energetically through the body. We can say through the chakra points. That's a little deeper teaching, but this is what we're doing. And so, and in a way, working along the spine, keeping the spine flexible, so we're able to bend the spine forward and backward, which is important. We're able to twist and laterally to, use the spine. So all of these things are quite important. It's important for everyone, but also as we get a little bit older, we kind of need this a little bit. So the 12 basic asanas also work through the endocrine system, and through each of the glands of the body are getting that balancing function of this practice. And so and in a symbolic way, we can also say, we start the practice by standing on the head, okay? And we end the practice by standing on our feet, which means that we're leaving the practitioner with a lot of feeling of stability and balance. And I think Swamiji was very practical in the sense that he wanted all of us to have that. He wanted us to practice in a way that practice supports us in the life. It doesn't take us too much outside the life or feeling uncomfortable, but allows us to be stable and to do whatever it is that we do in life with a lot of good qualities, focus and concentration and strength, actually. So the system is quite wise in that way. And so the 12 basic asanas, if you want to learn them, actually, we have other videos individually that cover each of those and how to do them. You can go to YouTube and find this series of videos, and it will teach you exactly how to come into the asana, how to come out of the asana, how to come into relaxation afterwards. So this is our starting point. You know, if you are able to comfortably work through these practices, you're getting everything you need within the body to be strong and healthy and also energetically ready to approach the other practices. So then if you come to want to meditate, you're ready for that. If you come to want to do more variations and more advanced practices, the body is well prepared and ready for that. So it's a very good starting point, and it's really what you need. The other things, you know, they're good. We get excited by the other elements of the practice, but this is a really stable, let's say, a foundation for the practice and what we need.